right, so today we decided to come here to Premier Auto Lounge, which is a car dealership, and here we got Mr. Jordan.
Hi
What's
there.
up, man?
How are you?
doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good
Thanks
too.
for coming in. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah.
So let's get started. Like, how did this start? How did it go when you did R&R Motorsports?
Sure. Wow, that's a throwback. So we started in college back in 2017. I had an old business partner, and this has actually always been a dream, passion, and dream project of mine. And ever since like middle school days, I had a business plan to have an exotic car dealership. We do some exotics now, but mostly our M cars, AMGs, and enthusiast spec vehicles. So fast forward 7 years ago when we started R&R Motorsports collection, we never were in the automotive space, never worked for anyone in the automotive industry, just kind of out of pure passion and just a guessing game for us, like going to the auction, learning how to do paperwork, buy a car, sell a car, fix it up a little bit. With a lot of trial and tribulation, we are now here as Premier Auto Lounge. About 7 years later, buying the most beautiful specs in the area, in my opinion. I've always, had the thought, if I love it, someone else will love it too. And so far, it's been working out well.
So now that you mentioned like all of the ins and outs of what you did to get there, what was the toughest part when you get into the business? Like, was it the fixer-up, or what was the thing that got you?
Yeah, so when we first started, we didn't have much capital to start, so we would do a lot of like cheaper cars, learning the cheaper cars. We always really did a lot of BMWs, starting like older 3 Series and 5 Series. We got burned a lot by maybe too high mile of cars or maybe some mechanics. A tough part in this business is finding a good mechanic to work with you, just because a lot of them aren't always as transparent. So we've used a lot of mechanics over the years, also finding what cars to buy. And then we didn't have much capital, so we did a lot of buy here, pay here. So in-house finance, right? So we would have a $5,000 car, $6,000 car, someone would give us $1,000 down, and we would collect payments over month by month. Over time, we've noticed with the BMW side, a lot of the customers couldn't afford to upkeep the car, so we'd have to go out and repo the car. And a few years ago, I always thought, man, getting into maybe a $20,000 or $30,000 car from a $10,000 car is tough, because you have to have good backing, good credit, and have a lot of good resources around you to do that. And that was a major jump for me. But it ended up working out because with a good reputation and buying the right inventory and finally making a name for yourself, we were able to jump into those more expensive cars. And then once I realized that M cars and AMGs were my true passion, jumping from a $20,000 unit now to up to $100,000+ unit. It just comes with being a good, running a good store, but also having a good backing of customers, employees, referrals, and references that work with you as well. So your name is everything in business, but also in this business.
Wow, so pretty much you just put your reputation and name on the line, and that's what got you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, it's been a long 7 years, about to be 8, right? Because it was like February or something?
Yeah, going on 8 years now.
Wow, and look at you. Like, you started just selling a Lexus IS, and look at you now with all this crazy stuff and all the crazier stuff you have sold before. Because I know you have sold like R8s with crazy specs, G-Wagons. You just had a Urus before, just recently.
Yeah, last month we had a Urus Performante. I said the baddest Urus in the Bay.
Yeah.
I got that from Ian. But
it kind of was.
It was sick. Yeah, it was a 320K MSRP, black with red and the gold wheels. It was a really beautiful spec. And that was a trade-in for a Cullinan, so it's crazy to be doing these kinds of cars right now.
I remember you had the Cullinan as well. What color was it? Was it blue or white?
Nardo gray, like the chalk.
Oh,
chalk gray.
You see, I missed the whole. I guess I missed the whole point there. Was the interior white or something?
The interior was like orange and black of the Cullinan.
Yeah, I missed the car completely. So I'm sorry for that. But anyways, so how you even got to those high-end cars?
Sure, I mean, 7 years, right?
Yeah.
It's been 7 years. Thankfully, we work with, we don't have a floor plan, which most dealers do, but, with personal contribution and, of course, working with some outside people, a bank that we work with all the time who's been growing with us. And just, sometimes you have to buy one to sell one, or, wholesale something quickly to make a little bit of money to buy that next, vehicle where there's more profit involved. So it's always about moving the units.
Wow. So, like, talking about units, right? I see that you get a lot of the M cars that you mentioned that you like to go, the M, the C63, So about all those cars, where do you start to find them? Do you go just to main auctions or do you also buy from people?
So that's a good question. So when I finally started realizing that I've always been into the M and AMG,
Yeah.
you know, I love those cars. I started buying a couple from the auction. I've had some success from the auction, and some came in not as good of shape as I wanted it to.
Yeah.
People buying these cars are very particular. They want good specs, they want clean inside and out, good maintenance history. But more than that, they also want the specs. They want the good specs. And that's what we've really dialed in on here in our area, and we sell to many other states, is because we have the right specs. So how do we get most of these cars? Is 99% of our inventory comes from private sellers. My day-to-day is, you know, going through multiple people hitting us up on Instagram or our website, but also going through AutoTrader, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, just every day really making these relationships and buying cars from enthusiasts and private sellers who treat their cars with the utmost respect and maintenance and really speccing them out from factory themselves. Anyone can go buy a regular black on black G82 for market value, but you know where we find is better for the enthusiast is something with carbon bucket seats or with carbon ceramic brakes, maybe full PPF.
Yeah.
So stuff like that that will hold and maintain better value than just your base MSRP M car.
So pretty much stuff like this, like the black on black. This one has bucket like you mentioned?
Yes, so this one has orange bucket. This is a 2024. This has a high 90s MSRP. But what's really nice about this one, what a lot of people like on these cars is you have the laser lights, which is a must on your M cars. This one also has the CSL grill delete, so full carbon grill, carbon all around. This is a full stealth PPF. You have carbon buckets. You only have 11,000 miles, and this car is actually sold, but this car we sold to a dealer for mid 80s, and he'll even make more money off of that. So this car, in 1 year, this has about $30,000 in modifications between the wheels, the suspension, all the carbon, the full XPEL PPF, all the labor, of course, that have gone into it, between $20,000 to $30,000 of mods. But it's only really lost about $7,000 in the first year, which is not a big loss compared to a lot of a normal car. If you were to go buy, you'll lose more than $7,000.
Like the Maserati over there?
Like the Maserati. That one's a special one. We'll get into that one shortly. Yeah.
So I see that you mentioned a lot of the German cars, and
Sure.
I have seen that you got some Japanese ones. You
Yep.
have the Silvia, right? It was
Yep.
like an S15.
Yep, we have the
Still here?
S15. That was imported from a buddy of ours. He goes to Japan every once in a while and starts importing cars from many years ago. We've done a couple of GTRs with him as well, and that was his Silvia that we ended up selling.
So you have sold GTRs, but which ones? The
Yeah, we had
R32s?
two R34s.
R34s?
Yeah, we had a midnight purple and a Bayside blue.
Wow, when was that? That was like
Last year.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
we
must
had
have
two.
missed that post.
Yeah, no worries, no worries.
Wow, look at that. So, do you also do like, you know, back to the old times where you have like more regular cars? Do you still do those, or do you just mainly focus on the big end cars?
Sure. So we do focus still. Like I love Lexus.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you know, your average BMW, your average Mercedes, we get a lot of those as trade-ins. Now, will I go out looking for like a Honda Pilot or something? Not necessarily. If it was a trade-in, or if we have a family friend or a customer looking for something like that, then we'll go out and source it for them specifically, and they'll know the price out the door up front, so they don't have to go dealer to dealer haggling, working, you know, hours upon end. You know, they'll come to us and say, "This is what I'm looking for." I'll find it for them within 30 days, and they can either get it delivered to the door, or they'll come here and pick it up.
Oh, so pretty much you guys also do like custom buying, I guess?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Sourcing specifically for what you're
Yeah.
looking for.
Let's say
Yeah.
I'm looking for, I don't know, a GR Corolla, just to say
Yeah.
a car.
Yeah.
You guys will find that.
Correct. Even if you're narrowing down price, budget, mileage, color, specs, we can narrow that down for you.
Wow. With all of these cars that you got, right? All of these European top-end special spec cars, right? What car do you drive?
I get the pleasure of driving all the cars here.
Okay.
Yeah. I used to have a personal car, but we pay so much insurance on the dealer side that there's no point of paying insurance for the personal side
Yeah.
and the dealer side. But that also allows me to enjoy all the cars that we get in. I handpick all the cars along with my team. We get to drive and put some miles on them to make sure A, they're good for the next customer.
Yes.
B, to see if they need anything, and also, you know, I get to enjoy them. But
yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
it's a big benefit, you know.
Yeah.
You get all these cool cars and you get to drive them as well, you
yeah,
know?
it's a dream. I'm
And-
living my dream. Absolutely.
I mean, congratulations indeed.
Thank you.
Which is the brand that you drive the most in all of the cars that you do?
BMW. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, our showroom, we don't have all the cars in here at the moment, but mostly what we do is if we have 30 cars on the lot at one time, 20 will be BMW.
Wow.
Yeah.
What made you go BMW? I know you mentioned like the specs.
Sure.
But there's other brands.
Yeah.
There's Mercedes. Lexus, you mentioned Lexus.
Yep.
There's Acura, Infiniti, and the other ones. Why just BMW the main thing?
So we mostly do BMWs because that's, I guess, what we mostly sell to our repeat clients, and what we're known for more online, on Instagram, etc., is getting the high-spec M cars in. That's something that I've always wanted to do for myself, but now for the store, and it's helped us grow a nice following. Now, if something is high-spec, let's say it's even a E-Class Mercedes convertible, but it's white on red AMG package, I want that. I want that for the store. Everything here has a nice spec about it. Something is not just base. It will always have a nice spec. Now, if we sell this M3 to an enthusiast, most of the time they'll also have a nice spec as a trade-in. So it's a win-win for us to get a nice trade as well.
Now that you mentioned trades, I have seen just crazy videos about people trading cars. There was this guy who traded like a F80 or F82, right? He had like $37 owed to it, and he just switched to a G80. Have you guys had like people trading big like money owed to cars, like big money owed to them?
Yeah, so negative equity.
Yeah.
So that's actually a big issue right now. A lot of people bought cars 2 years ago at the height of the market.
Yes.
They didn't really understand, I guess, how specs work. You know, a lot of these M cars off the lot, dealers were pricing these 20 grand, 30 grand, 15 grand over MSRP.
Crazy.
And they're the ones taking the hit now. If you have good credit and you have some cash down, you know, some banks, like credit unions, will lend you up to 135% loan to value. Mm-hmm. If you have maybe 10 grand of negative equity, maybe if you put 5 grand out of pocket, the bank will assume the other 5 grand. So a lot of that is happening right now. We're currently seeing that from people buying cars 1 or 2 years ago at the height of the market. If you have good credit or you have a decent down payment, the bank will assume some of that negative equity.
Well, so pretty much they are risking themselves, but they kind of have an idea of what's coming, right? By having negative.
Yeah, and you know, in America, a lot of people, especially these cars, they want to change them through and through. You know, it's always about getting a good deal, but the best deal isn't always the best car. You want to do your research on who you're buying from, but also specs matter. You know, if you're buying something with a nice spec, it will hold better value than it would just a base spec. So you also have to look into that too. So sometimes negative equity won't always hold you over the head. Sometimes your bank will assume that negative equity. Sure.
What about electric luxury cars? Do you guys plan to move forward with that, or you don't see like a market on that, right?
No, I don't see a market on that. Unfortunately, you know, speaking of the negative equity, most of the people with the negative are in the EV side. You know, they're in the EVs. We've seen Teslas hit, you know, pretty low. Some
20,000
people, some people just bought a Model 3 last year for 40 grand. Now it's 20. And even at 20, we're giving them high value on trade because I feel for those people that have the negative equity. But the EV luxury car market, they're beautiful cars. They're just too tech focused. And at some point, I think the charging becomes an inconvenience.
Yes.
Even if you have a charger at home, there's always that one day you're not expected to have that 500-mile trip that now you have to spend 2 more hours or an hour more charging.
Yes.
And like myself, car people are always car people. We're going to miss those naturally aspirated V8s, those V10s, the Huracan with the naturally aspirated V10, or the Audi R8, you know, or even like the F chassis BMWs. I'm a bigger fan of that older M3 with the naturally aspirated V8 than I am of the G chassis. And a lot of people might find that crazy, but these are very tech-focused cars. It's very easy to get in and drive and go. Whereas the F chassis, the E chassis, they don't have as much tech. It's driver-focused car. You know, and that's the stuff that is now holding and going up in value because people still want those NA V8s, NA V10s, the V12s. They want the sound, they want the drivability. Not everyone just wants a computer.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has a phone, right? So why would I drive my phone?
Exactly. But, and we may get a lot of hate for this, but a lot of people always ask about CarPlay, right?
Yes.
So Apple CarPlay. So Apple CarPlay is great.
Yeah.
I love the ease of CarPlay.
Yes.
But what makes the difference now of infotainment in a Kia and a Lamborghini? Like, yes, of course, it's a totally different program. It's a totally different feel. But at the end of the day, CarPlay is still CarPlay.
Yes.
And I wish that these cars sometimes would not always go for the CarPlay.
And to have their own.
And to have their own, because everything is the same now. You know, and even on these 23 G80s, it's a screen, so God forbid the AC goes out. Everything is, God forbid your screen goes black or turns a different color. You can't go into your AC and work your AC now. So that's, I think, why a lot of people are in a lot of these cars from like 2010 through 2020 are holding such good value because people just want the cars that are drivers. Car people will always be car people.
I mean, imagine you have to like go on another screen or something just to raise the volume of your of your radio, or just like turning down the AC where you could just flip.
Everyone knows where the button is.
Yeah, exactly. Just a knob, right?
Yep.
Wow, man. So, with all these trends going on with the cars, do you plan ever to, like Porsche, I'm sorry, bro. There's many people saying
I'm the same.
With the brand that you have on your hat, right? Do you plan to get those here too?
Yeah, absolutely. I love Porsche. We have a 1970 Porsche Targa.
Yes, I have seen
at the house.
Yeah.
We need to get 2 batteries done to it, and then we'll be driving it around in the weather. But I want to establish some more 911s this year. I want to get into a couple 911s. I've done one. It was a good market for us, but Porsche people are Porsche people. They're very picky, just like with BMW.
Way more pickier, yeah.
We dabble in 1 or 2 exotics per month, but I think a 911 is going to be on the radar in the next couple of weeks.
So you plan to like go out with the big trim, or just like start middle trim? Like everyone says the GTS is like the sweet spot.
Oh, great, yeah. I
do
agree.
You plan to go that, or just go out?
I think if we can get like a 992.1 Carrera S or a GTS, I think that's a good start for us, or maybe even a 2015 GT3 with the upgraded H or E motor, but not necessarily base. I don't really want a convertible. I love a Targa, but I think if I'm going to start to dabble, I would go into a coupe. And most likely a PDK, or if you get into maybe a Turbo S with a manual transmission. But specs matter, of course, on Porsche too.
Especially for those enthusiasts, they are looking a lot for, you have this kind of seats,
They're even more enthusiastic than BMW.
When you thought this was crazy, it's way crazier when the Porsche people.
Yeah.
But would you go to the route of like, Macan or Cayenne? No, just the coupes, right?
Yeah.
Not even like Caymans?
I would do a Cayman S, maybe a manual. 4.0. I would definitely do a GT4.
Okay.
I had a Porsche Macan here last year. It's actually the biggest loss I've ever taken on a vehicle. I will never buy a Macan again, unless it's maybe a turbo or a GTS. But no Macans, no Cayennes. If I'm going to dabble in the Porsche world, it's going to be a sports car.
Oh, okay. So let's say the
What about the Fisker? I thought that was the biggest loss.
Oh, so you had a Fisker
I didn't
here?
do too bad on the Fisker. Yeah,
you had a Fisker Karma here?
Not a Karma, we had the Ocean.
Oh, I remember the blue one, the electric one,
yeah.
which got really.
Yeah, you can buy those now for like $15,000.
Crazy.
Which is a lot of car for the money, but if you have something broken, no one's going to help you.
Yeah, you're just by your own.
Yeah, you're on your own.
How do you even get that car? What made you
we
go
had
into that car?
We had a family friend in South Florida call us. She had just bought this car. This was in May. I think she just bought this car brand new for $80,000 in March. I offered her $45,000 or $40,000, and I felt bad doing so. But I made a pretty strong offer because she wanted a Tesla. She hated her Fisker. She was having problems. It had 1,000 miles on it, so we sent it up. We didn't drive the car for 3 days. We had to call a tech out for like 2 months. We had problems with the Fisker. We ended up taking a $5,000 loss on the car. It could have been a lot worse than that. Thankfully, we got out of it. But quick. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Never again.
So wait, now that we're in the Porsche, right, and we have the electric stuff going on.
Yeah.
What about Taycan? Would you be thinking about Taycan?
Yeah.
Because it's
just back to the electric. If one comes across my desk that's a really good deal in a really nice spec, and there's money to be had, sure.
Yeah.
But if not, I'm not going to go out of my way to potentially get one.
Got you. So pretty much coupes, sports cars, and no SUVs. No.
We love luxury SUVs. We move SUVs fairly quick. We love GLE 63s, GLE 43s, X5Ms, X3Ms.
Okay, the top trim, the sports.
High trim. But even if it's just like a regular X5, like a 2017, must have M Sport package, right?
Yeah. Oh, like that X-Drive that you got, the 330, right? That you got. It's like a 2018.
Yes, that was a trade-in for our Wildberry Purple M3.
Oh,
But that one too, that has M Sport wheels, upgraded exhaust. That one's sitting out there. That actually is sold. But we are, nice trade-in, low miles, well maintained. If it wasn't clean, it would go to the auction or wholesale out.
Wow. So you guys, if you do not sell to people, you do auctions most of the time?
Auctions, but we also work with a bunch of dealers.
Oh.
So we'll wholesale stuff out.
Do you have like a main dealer that comes to you often, or do you just go?
We work with Holly at Audi of Lakeland.
Okay.
We also work with Michael Beebe down at Foreign Affairs, and George Saliba up north we've worked with a couple times. Sometimes Adam from Brooklyn Auto. We do wholesale with them, but not so much the M cars at wholesaling. More of just trade-ins that we'll do with like Audi of Lakeland or maybe through auction or OBE.
Got you. And now that I see the Lambo again, right? Do you plan to get like? Have you had McLarens here?
No McLarens.
And Ferraris yet?
We've had a couple older Ferraris, but I would like to get maybe an F430 this year or something like that.
Wow, going a little bit on the old side. That's good.
Yeah, I
That's
love
like
older Ferraris. See, those cars get me more excited than the new cars.
For sure.
Because that's when I was growing up. That's what I was excited about.
Yeah, those are like more analog, more.
Exactly.
You can feel the actual road.
Yeah.
People say like the 997.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like the last analog, like most
Yeah.
down to earth, like let's say.
And those are holding insane value now.
Yeah, I have seen like turbos for 100 plus, turbo S's and even regular turbos.
Yeah.
Would you keep one of them?
Unfortunately, I don't keep anything. The guys always get on to me for that too.
Wow.
If I could keep something, it would be that white E92 in the
Yeah.
corner. I just love the E90 chassis. There's been a lot of stuff I want to keep. We had
Yeah.
a red R8, one of four made in that Tango.
They didn't last long.
No, I absolutely love that car. I would tell my wife we got to keep it. And you know, if there's money to be had and you make good money on it and you get to love what you do still, you know, it's just on to the next one. I think if I were to keep something, it would be like a F430 Scuderia. That would be something I would.
With a gated manner and all that.
Yeah.
They have gated manners, or it was.
I don't know about in a Scuderia.
Oh, it was a 360 that they have a gated.
Yeah,
manner.
no, F430 as
Yeah,
well,
they
but
do.
the Scuderia, I don't
It's-
think so.
Oh, okay.
That was like the Formula One. I
Yeah,
think.
that's like the top.
Yeah.
Wow.
But it's hard to keep anything.
Do you plan to expand in this place?
Yeah, so currently we're looking for another building. That's the goal for 2025 is to
Nice.
expand into our own location. We've ran out of room. We have parking on both sides, cars at the house, cars all over, mechanic, body shop, you know, incoming, outgoing.
Yeah.
So it's a good operation, but we're ready to upgrade space.
So with the plan of expanding, in the long run, do you plan to have multiple spots or just like one main location?
I think just one main location, one
Yeah.
giant location. I would love to have just a massive indoor showroom, 100
Yeah.
plus units with a big lounge, big event space,
Yeah.
and to bring other companies together as well. So just one location.
It would be nice too because it makes it feel like they can be able to get to you like I'm doing right now, which
Yeah.
will make it more human, you know?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
see you're very active online too.
Yeah, have to be. I mean, most of my day today goes to meeting new people and buying their inventory, going to car shows, and of course running the back end of the store. But I enjoy meeting people. I never want to be behind in my own office,
Yeah.
alone. I thrive off of meeting new enthusiasts.
I've seen you a lot into Provisions Coffee car meets. You
Yeah.
always have your tent there. That's
Yep.
where I met you actually.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're always there. Thank you, Gabe, for always having us for the last 2 years. And then we're always at Armature Works as well every third
Oh yeah, I
Saturday.
have seen you on Armature Works too.
Yeah. We'll do a couple other events, couple Toys for Tots or car drives. We are at Festival of Speed
Yeah.
this February 16th. I will not be there. I'll be out
Oh.
of town, but my team will be there.
Okay, that's good though. Wow.
Yeah. So we love our events, our car shows. It's definitely brought a nice name for us in the local community.
Yeah, it actually puts you outside and out there with people.
Yeah.
You know, they can talk to the actual owner.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I see that you mentioned that you make it easier for people to buy cars. How do you make that process? What do you mean, like, it's easier to sell with us than other people?
Sure. So for one, we try to be no hassle. If we put a number on something, we try to stay true to our word. On the buying side for the customer, you can be in and out of here in 30 minutes. We had a gentleman here pick up a 2 Series earlier today, and he was out in 20 minutes.
Wow.
And
The convertible one.
Yep, that sold to a gentleman. He came yesterday to test drive, loved it, went to his bank, got his own financing, which of course speeds up the process. He was in and out with paperwork for 20 minutes. And there's no need to go to a dealership and spend your whole day there. People dread going to the dealer. You're welcome to come hang out as long as you want, but you want to be in and out, and we want to send you on your way.
Yeah.
There's no need to be here for 7 or 8 hours. And a lot of people bring their own financing, which also does help.
Well, like there's nothing more expensive than time, to be honest.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's really nice that you guys respect people's time. You know.
Have to.
Imagine you handing your ID to a salesman and they just disappear for an hour.
Yeah, then it goes to their manager and the finance manager and
Yeah.
the manager's hand. Or, the worst thing, if you go to a franchise store or a big store, they don't want you to leave. They'll do
Yeah.
anything that they can. And I get it. They want to sell the car. It's a business, and I understand that. But, we like to be no pressure. If you come in, you like the car, you want to think on it, no problem. We'll follow up with you tomorrow and, enjoy your day. We don't want you to feel like we're trying to drag you back in to make a deal, because at the end of the day, we sell cars that people love. If you don't like it and you want to go for something else, either we have something else for you, or we'll hopefully see you on the next one.
Wow. So pretty much, with all of the good stuff that we have gone to, in the recent time, what has been like a challenge for you with a dealer?
As a dealer or for another
As a dealer, like as you owning this dealership.
Yeah.
What has been like something that has been like an issue, something hard to deal with?
Sure. Day to day gets tough sometimes, right? You're always dealing with so much stuff going on. Thankfully, I have a really great team. But it's trying to find the best inventory, I would say. I think we're really good at doing that. But also outgrowing this location has been difficult. Trying to find a new location that is certified for a dealership to go in, but also, trying to find the right spot for me and my team.
So wait, there's certifications to be a dealer?
So not all buildings are
dealer certified.
Yeah, certified by the city to be a automotive dealership.
Wow, so you have to find a spot. You cannot request a permission or something, right?
You might be able to re-permit. I just don't know how long that takes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's just easier to find one that it already is.
Yeah, but where we are, it's right now very expensive and also limited.
So the plan to go to a different warehouse, right? That would be a good name for.
I would like to be. Yeah, we like the indoor location.
Yeah. So the plan will be to move out of Clearwater, or.
We'd like to stay in Pinellas, I think Pinellas County, but we're also looking at Ybor, maybe South Tampa.
Okay.
So not too far out, but somewhere local.
Okay. So now that you think about moving over there, did you guys have any issues with the storms here? I don't think you guys have any issues, right?
No, we're very lucky. We're not in any flood zone. We actually ended up moving all of our inventory to a buddy's, two friends of ours parking garages in St. Pete. They were like 50, 60 feet above sea level. It was a 3-day event. We had to move 33 cars to 2 different garages, and then of course all back. We kept a couple cars here in the showroom. We actually put cameras on floor level to make sure there was no water coming in. And we only packed a couple cars in the middle of the showroom. Sometimes the parking lot will get a little bit high with water, but nothing ever comes up to the showroom. So we're very lucky.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many people were driving with you, all those 33 cars at the time?
God, we had my buddy Hunter, we had the team, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, my
Hunter,
wife.
tall guy?
I'm sorry?
Hunter is like a tall guy.
Yeah, a little taller than me. I'm
think-
not too tall, but yeah, a good friend of ours. We used one of his garages, but we had about 5 or 6 of us driving all at the same time.
Wow, so it's like minimum 6, like you have 5 to 6 people, so it was
We
like
had multiple trips throughout 2 days.
at least minimum 5 cars per trip.
Yeah, and then using dealer tags and tags that we had, like old tags that had expired just for parking, and it was a trek.
Wow.
Yeah, but we got rollers too, so
Yeah.
it was
That's-
positive.
that's
Yeah.
content, you
Yeah,
know?
we got some content.
Wow, do you depend a lot of content nowadays?
One more time.
Do you depend a lot of
On content?
yeah.
I think the cars that we sell need to be shown online. You
Yeah.
know, and the day to day, I think we have a really cool day to day.
Yeah.
We have a lot of really nice incoming and outgoing cars, and a lot of great customers and friends that come in on a day to day basis. And I think that needs to be shown on social media.
You know, and it did work because it got me here.
Oh, amazing.
So,
Yeah.
I would like to in the future maybe buy one of these great cars. I know by the time I'm able to buy one, the E92 will not be there, which is fine, I
Sure.
guess. But is that a manual?
No, DCT.
Okay.
DCT. Yeah.
And I know those have, what is the issue, like bearings, is it?
Yeah, so rod bearings and throttle actuators are the big issues on those. Actually, both have been done already on that car. And right now, so a 2013 low mile, really high example, coupe and sedans, they are holding amazing value right now.
Do you like more the coupe or the convertible one?
Coupe.
I
Those are the ones holding the value. Convertible's nice with the top down, but body line's going to be the coupe because you get the carbon roof.
Yeah, and they are easier to find more modifications. I heard like the
Yeah.
convertible platform is like tougher to find stuff.
You can do a lot of exhaust work and engine work, but in terms of maybe
Like the
outside modifications,
Yeah.
not so much on a convertible.
Wow. Any BMW that has given you issues to get sold previously? No.
We had an M4 convertible that took a while to
Oh,
sell.
I remember. It was
Yeah.
like a black one, right?
A black one, yeah.
Yeah.
It was. I took it in as kind of like a project car.
Yeah.
I got it for a really good deal. I should have just sent it to the auction and made money, but I wanted to fix it up, and $9,000 later, we took a loss on it. But I like the convertibles. I love the convertibles, the way they look, the hardtop convertibles. That's
Yeah,
the last
hardtop
great.
is the way to
But
go.
I would try to just stick with the M3 and M4 coupes.
So now that we talk about the issues of the rod bearings and stuff, did you work on cars before getting into a car dealership?
No, I never did, but
Wow.
I've learned quite a lot. I ask a lot of questions to our mechanics. I always like to see what's going on and learn myself. Especially on the BMWs, I'm very well versed now on what could go wrong at what mileage or what to look out for or what to prevent. But no, all kind of self-taught.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because you just mentioned that it was like a project for that M4, so you actually did some.
Oh,
work
so the
yourself?
project in that one, it needed body work, it needed paint work, we needed to touch up all the wheels, do tires, we had to do valve cover gasket, we had to do a new amp for the radio. It was just like multiple projects on this car specifically.
So that one got sold to someone instead of.
That's sold to a dealer.
Oh,
We sold
okay.
that to a dealer, yeah.
Do you regret selling any of the cars aside from the R8? That R8 still is in your head.
Yeah,
right?
I love that. No, I don't regret.
No. So.
I love that we got him in here. I love that we got to sell.
Oh, like you got to experience it as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Have you for most of your cars, do you go out of the state or they just come here? Do you just see them and they come here?
Yeah, so great question. We buy a lot from out of state. We actually have 5 incoming from California right now. But what we do is we send out a PPI company to go check out the car for us. They send walk around videos, photos, OED scan. They take them on test drives. They look for oil leaks. They look for burning smells. They do a whole 9 for us on the PPI. It's called Lemon Squad. They're a full company. And then we negotiate a little bit more depending on how the report comes out. If it's a very high-spec vehicle, like an R8 or something like that, I'll have it sent directly to Audi or a local recommendation who works on those cars.
Wow.
Yeah, so we check through everything before we sell. Then when the car comes in, we get our own PPI done from our mechanic.
Wow. And well, you mentioned that you have help from different places. So maybe we should introduce the team because
Yeah,
I
let's
know
go.
you don't do this alone, right?
Yeah. No, of course not.
So who we have here?
Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Jose. I'm the general manager here at Premier Auto Lounge. I pretty much oversee all of our inventory and help Jordan as well buy some nice specs as well.
Wow. So you're Jose, and you are?
Oliver. I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Premier. I lead dealership operations and focus on inventory management with sales process efficiency and team leadership, of course. I oversee CRM management and vendors and customers as well.
So how long have you guys been here in this company, both of you?
I've been here 2 years in March. So
2 years in March.
yeah. So coming up on 2 years. Yeah.
Wow. How about you, Oliver?
I've been working with Jordan since 2018, but I've been with Premier since January of 2023.
So you guys been in the auto industry for a couple years now
Yeah,
already.
Yep.
yeah.
So what got you into that? You guys like cars, sales? What do you like about that?
I would say we have a niche for transportation, man. Transportation is one of the most essential things in life aside from food and shelter, of course. So we're big in the transportation field and the technology that comes behind it, and of course building customer relationships and finding these cars that we want to sell to these customers and just building a fantastic relationships always moving forward.
Wow. So, moving forward, right, in that process, what challenges have you found? Have you had like any issues going on or?
So yeah, some people make it seem like the dealership life is easy. I would say it's quite the opposite. It's not. On a day-to-day, there's many challenges and obstacles that we would have to overcome, I would say, as a team effort.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's with inventory, whether it's with back-end issues, systems, you name it. We're dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, but we ensure that we overcome all these obstacles in a timely and efficient manner.
Oh, man. I guess those years are reflecting right there, all the experience that you have been getting on.
Absolutely.
Wow. What car do you drive?
I personally drive a 2017 Lexus RC.
Do you like it?
I do. I've had that one since 2017. I'm the original owner on that car.
Wow. How about you, Jose? What do you drive, man?
I drive an Accord. I have a pretty long drive, so it definitely helps with the gas mileage.
I bet. So usually, you know, on this side of the business, it's never about having the flashy cars. It's just the functional ones that you like.
Yeah, reliable, practical cars. I mean, the cars that we sell are also reliable too. So we sell high-end caliber cars that are also qualified as luxury cars at the end of the day as well. So we make sure that we do our due diligence in ensuring that all these cars come to us in a clean manner and that we sell them in the best way possible to every single customer that we do interact with.
Well, so with so many cars coming up, which one has been your favorite to drive? Because, you know, it's obvious that you guys have to drive it at least once.
Yeah, man, we've had quite the number of cars that we've loved come in and out. I mean, even currently right now, there's definitely a handful that are in the top 10 already of this year, and we're only in January. So that's pretty cool to say, and pretty lucky for us to say as well.
100%.
Wow, so all of them, right? All of them are so good you cannot find like one big car that you like.
Man, I don't know, Jose. Can you think of one off the top of your head that's really blown you away in the past year?
Not really blown me away, but one of my favorite cars that we've got here was E39 M5.
Okay.
Yeah, so definitely.
That's the classic one, right?
Okay.
Definitely a nice classic BMW. I'm a huge BMW guy, so I definitely appreciate all the inventory we get.
Wow. So you guys also talking about M5s. You guys had a good amount. You have the Batman car, which was like the all blacked out, right?
Yeah, the Bruce Wayne spec is what they call it.
Yeah. Wow. And was it as crazy as it looked?
Yeah, man. You'd have to see it in person. Pictures don't always do our cars justice. That's why we always recommend for customers to physically see our cars. Because once you physically see the car, interior and exterior, you will be blown away.
To get into where you at, right? What will be any advice that you will give? Like to get where you guys at right now?
I would say stay consistent. I've heard that saying, work smarter, not harder, but I feel like you can say the vice versa aspect to it. You know, if you keep working hard, it's working smart at the same time because that effort's going to pay out in the long run, especially in the short-term future as well, especially when you're working and putting your mindset to it.
Wow, man. Thanks, man. Really appreciate your time. Jose, thank you.
All of you.
Guys,
Cheers.
appreciate it,
Thank
man.
you.
Alright, so right now we're gonna get with the photographer of the dealership right here, which is my guy Ian.
How you doing?
He's a nice guy. He's been into this for a couple times now, and let's see how it goes. And what's the plan now?
So we have 2 locations for our vehicles. We have one right down the road from us, which is a soon to not be empty warehouse because unfortunately it did get bought out. The other one is another business that we just usually go on the weekends if needed. But yeah, so I've been shooting Jordan's vehicles for over 3 years now. So I know exactly what to do. Average shoot is about, I want to say, less than 8 minutes, to be honest, per vehicle with over 40 photos each vehicle.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you've been with Jordan how long again?
Since I want to say, what was it, 25 now? I'll say 2022.
Wow, that's a good while.
Quite some time.
Alright, so let's see what my guy does here. Because he says it would take like around 8 minutes to get this done.
It won't take long at all. It'll be quick.
It's as quick as we thought it is.
Absolutely.
So you already have like setup of what you actually shoot?
Yes, so I would say there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 angles we shoot on the exterior wise. One a low shot and one a high shot so they can see what's above the car, because sometimes BMWs or other cars have carbon roofs, or in this case it has a moon roof as well, so or sunroof, whatever you like to call it. But it's just so the customer can see every nook and cranny of the vehicle, and that way when they say, hey, what's wrong with this car, we have an explanation for it, or something we didn't see before, we'll make sure it gets addressed before it goes live.
Kind of cold weather right now, huh?
You know, it's not a normal Florida weather, I'll say that.
Do you have like a setting that you never miss here, or do you just always rock with what it shows?
What do you mean?
Like, I don't know, ISO the same, ISO, or just aperture the same?
So I've been doing this for a while, so I know what to change it to. And also, of course, it depends on the day. As of right now, I'm shooting a little high of the aperture right now. and a high ISO, just to ensure that I get the entire vehicle in focus. But as you can tell, it's getting a little dark outside, so
Yeah.
just had to bump my ISO up just so we can see everything.
Just so you can see everything. Which has been the craziest car you have taken photos of?
For Jordan or in general?
For Jordan.
Jordan.
R8, Performante, or Cunningham?
Well, I'm a R8 guy at heart, so of course, like when he,
The white one, right?
yes, I think it was a 08, yeah, I think it was a 08
Gated?
gated manual R8. Of course, I was fanboying the entire time.
I remember.
It was a beautiful car.
It's been a while since then.
It has been, but we may get it back. The owner is now looking for a project Porsche, so we may have that back. Honestly, it's such a rare spec, and let's be honest, when was the last time you've ever seen a gated R8?
Yeah, I didn't even know those existed at the time.
I didn't know either.
Did you go deep about details with the photos here?
So I try to get as much detail as possible. So one thing all dealers necessarily need is a minimum, I believe, of 24 photos. There's one website that dealers use to promote their photos. It requires a minimum of 24 photos. So I at least capture enough information so that website can gather everything, and then as well as everything else. So that includes, of course, the 8 angles, which it results to 16 exterior photos, as well as engine bay, back seats, even if it's a coupe, front end, all the minute details that may be damaged or whatnot, so the customer knows what they're looking to get into. Now, that being said, we don't buy damaged vehicles a lot. When they do come in damaged, we know about it previously before buying it, and we do the due diligence to either fix it or replace the entire piece altogether.
Gotcha.
Because no one wants to buy a new car, new to them,
Yeah.
and it'd be completely damaged.
Yeah, I would hate to be that guy or that
Right.
lady.
And we just don't expect a customer to deal with that.
Yeah,
Because they're spending a premium when it comes to high-spec BMWs.
a lot of money going on.
Correct. So if we could spend a little extra to ensure the customer is happy at the end of the day, we'll do it, you know? And especially if it's a minute amount. It's like, yes, if we have to spend $1,000, we have to spend $1,000.
Yeah.
But we take that into account when it comes to purchasing the vehicle. So this is the fun part. So I usually take off my shoes for this one so I don't get it dirty.
You're presenting Ariat, not a sponsor yet. I don't think so.
Not yet. But
At least
one shot we've always done to the T is get a shot from the back where it shows all the seats and interior shot of the whole dash and the steering wheel. And even if it's coupe and I'm 6'1" and over 200 pounds, it's not an easy one.
In a coupe like these,
It's not fun, but it can be done. So if someone says they can't, they're lying to you. They just don't want to. You do what you got to do.
6'7" or something, which is
6'7" is the only excuse I'll take.
But there's no many 6'7" photographers, I bet.
That is true. So I have it dialed in. So whenever I start the vehicle, I start with it facing left, fully parallel to me.
Like we started.
And then do a quarter until I hit the front. After the front, I do all 4 wheel photos because, believe it or not, people care if your wheels are curved. So, because that's an expense they have to account in. Usually, it's around like $100 to $500 depending on the wheel.
Yeah.
So, after that, of course, all interior shots from there. Make sure I get every nook and cranny from there. And importantly, especially if it has a sunroof or a moonroof, vehicle, capture that. Because even though M4 is obviously a sports vehicle, a lot of people look for the sunroof, to be honest. Besides the carbon, it's a very popular when it comes to people who like to daily it, to be honest, rather than be a weekend car. If it's a weekend car, let's be honest, they're going to go for a carbon roof instead.
Yeah. Do you usually try to make all of the shots while they are at that angle? Like, for instance, you mentioned the 4 wheels, right? So do you take the pictures now of 2 wheels right at?
No, so as soon as it's facing directly towards me, straight on, that's when I do all the wheel shots and interior. I just find that it's easier, especially when the card is front facing towards a background, especially towards light. It allows more light inside the vehicle, so for me to be able to capture it. Whereas if I shoot against a wall where it's dark and not reflecting any light, it's going to be a lot harder on my camera to capture all the detail without being very noisy. And as all photographers knows, noise kind of kills the photo. Thankfully, with obviously Lightroom, there's now denoise, but it doesn't capture the very small details where, like, if there's a scratch on, God forbid, like the steering wheel or something like that, and we denoise it, sometimes it gets rid of it. Yeah. So this is something you have to keep in account.
What has been the craziest car that you have shot ever? Instead of not Jordan, just ever.
I didn't even answer Jordan's just yet, to be honest.
I think you did with the R8, but...
Oh yeah, the R8, yeah, you're right. Ever was a brand new SF90.
Wow, where did you shot that?
That was in Clearwater. A third-party person reached out to me, telling me his client wanted to sell the vehicle. He just bought it, unfortunately, it just wasn't his cup of tea. So he hired me, didn't even know the guy, still don't even know the guy, but thank you.
Whoever that guy is.
Yeah, seriously. But he hired me go out there to Clearwater on a random day and shoot the vehicle, and it turns out to be like a MLB player who was down here just for a spring training. I was like, okay, no complaints from me.
No autograph, no nothing?
Not my cup of tea. When like I'm working, I don't like to be a fangirl. Like within means, like hey, I'll introduce myself. Like hey,
nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Love your work. Have a good day. That's the extent of it.
Yeah, it makes it more comfortable for them.
Absolutely, because at the end of the day, they're just people.
So this is the warehouse we see in every photo shoot. So they move into this warehouse?
Yeah. So as you can see, not many work trucks are here at the moment. A company did purchase this location. Not sure. I think right after the hurricane hit us. So they purchased the location. We actually tried to inquire about at least getting a quarter of it, but they just wanted to get rid of the building altogether. So unfortunately, we couldn't get it, but we just use it for lease location so we can highlight the vehicle. It's just a blank background, so easy to highlight certain key features. Something
that we like.
Absolutely.
How do you even get the idea to get all of these angles?
So I've worked with multiple companies before, like Bring a Trailer, for example. Bring a Trailer has a really good, clear example of what they're looking for. They give you a complete PDF file of every angle they're looking for, because Bring a Trailer typically recommends over 100 photos, and that's when you have to be very nitpicky, because I do a lot right now for 45 photos, but it's kind of hard to think like what else can you get. They want tire tread, they want underneath the vehicle, they want to see any imperfection that exists, they want to see underneath the engine, they want to see the VIN, they want to see the VIN on the engine. It's a lot of stuff to account for. But knowing that information and combining with Jordan's expertise on the vehicles, we're able to collaborate to get a good middle ground of all the photos he needs to get the message across of the quality of the vehicle and if there's anything wrong with it as well. Wow. But that is it. Let's get going.
We outie. So wait, so pretty much that was it for right now, right? So
that's it in general. All the photos will be edited very quickly and then put live on the website, and it'll usually is live the next day.
So what's something that does it get tedious? If so, what does get tedious on this?
No, I wouldn't say get tedious. I've have everything down to a T on this one. I have a preset that I use for almost all the photos. Of course, every vehicle is different, so I change based on the color of the vehicle, and then honestly just bulk paste and then edit every single individual photo from there. And it's pretty quick, to be honest.
Is it true that black cars are just annoying to shoot?
No, actually. Now, don't get me wrong, they're the worst to clean after and find a scratch because they like to hide it. But no, it's it's honestly great to see because we can see if there's anything wrong with the vehicle, of course, and address it from there. But outside of that, we don't really typically shoot that many black vehicles, to be honest. Majority of our inventory are typically individual specs for BMW specifically.
Oh, what's that?
Example A right there. It's not a common color. And let's be honest, if you're going to be buying a car, especially from us who specialize in high-spec BMWs and AMGs, you don't want like an everyday cookie-cutter car. So it's all different at the end of the day. So you're never going to find a black car too often here or a white car per se.
Rather gray, silver, in between, right?
Yeah, but usually those are just on trade-in or we just get a good deal for them, to be honest.
So I guess the crazy colors are the big deal here.
Yeah, because I mean, we cater towards enthusiasts at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, if you're a car guy, you're an enthusiast. So we all look for those certain type of vehicles, and we don't want to have the same vehicles as everyone else. Like you were like, oh, you drive a friend's car, and you're like, yo, I love this car, I'm gonna go buy it. He's gonna be like, don't buy the same car as me. You won't have that issue if you buy an individual color.
Which is literally
individual. Now, per se, we're BMW. I do like it because the only other brand I'm aware of that does these type of colors are Porsche, I believe.
yeah. Paint to sample.
Correct. BMW has a nice setup where you can pay additional $1,000 to $2,000, and obviously can go up on there based on the color and the rarity of it. To get a individual color, just not like a base white or black from the factory. And the majority of our cars are typically one owner or two owner, and the two owners are typically friends between each other. So we get the entire story of the vehicle, and they tell us the full story about like why they chose this color, why they chose the interior, comp package, the carbon exterior package, the whole 9 yards. And at the end of the day, the only people who purchase that are true enthusiasts. And we just cater to those type of people because we feel like we're those people and we can have a better bond. And we're just trying to change the scene of the dealership industry because let's be honest, no one wants to sit in a dealership for over 4 hours.
Hey.
Oh, turned it on.
There you go.